Hey everybody, welcome to Dave TV for Friday or for Thursday. I keep thinking today's a Friday. I don't know why. It's a Thursday, 24th of May, 2012. I'm going to keep it really short today, to the point. No long, crazy ramblings. And what I want to talk about is this, WHFS. I'm listening to them there. Okay, I got my little radio, my HD radio up there. 97.5 in Baltimore on a low-power signal that covers the central core of the Baltimore Metro. They're also heard down here in DC on 94.7's HD2, Fresh FM. And they're also heard on 106.5 up in Baltimore on their HD2, digital signals. Okay? But here's what I'm thinking. Okay, while HFS, and it's a cool station too, it's an alt-rocker. They've got some live, it sounds like live people. I don't know if they're being voice tracked or whatever, but they sounds great. But what they need to do is, here's what I think they need to do, is add 1580, okay? CBS DC has the signal 1580. They don't know what to do with it. It used to have the HFS calls. They put the WNEW calls on there. It's got a talk format, and literally nobody listens to it. It never shows up in the ratings, okay? Nobody's listened to the station. Now, with the daytime signal isn't bad for 1580. It covers the whole Washington metro area. Nighttime, yeah, it's not so great. You know, just a little small area of central southern Prince George's County, but still, it's something. So here's what I think CBS ought to do. The HFS calls now are down in Florida. They're down in West Palm Beach. That's where they were moved when CBS started WNEW on 99.1, and then they moved the WNEW AM calls over to 1580. I don't know why they did that. They could have just left HFS right there. I guess because the WNEW calls were in St. Peter and in West Palm Beach. They just flipped them. So they put WNEW up here, and they put WHFS down there. Okay, but now they're mixing up all the signals down in West Palm Beach anyhow, and the calls down there aren't even hyped. You know, they call the station whatever, you know, use its frequency or whatever. They don't even mention the call letters except at the top of the hour legal ID. So there's no point for them to be there. So here's what I think CBS ought to do. Take the HFS calls, bring them back to the Washington market, stick them on 1580, and then have HFS on these signals. Okay, the low power 97.5 in Baltimore, the 106.5 HD2 in Baltimore, 94.7, okay, that should have said HD2. I don't know why I didn't do that. HD2. The 94.7 HD2 in Washington, and on 1580, okay? You know, I think it would be cool to be able to just, you know, the station 1580, nobody listens to it anyway. If you put a cool format like HFS on it, some people are going to tune it in, and then you also got the web. You can listen to them, you know, on CBS's web thingy and whatever, and on the HFS, there was an HFS website somewhere. So, you know, so this would give 5 options to listen to them, okay? I think it'd be a good idea. Just, you know, none of these signals in itself is all that great, but a combination of 4 signals, bringing the WHFS calls back to the Washington market where they need to be, slapping them on back on 1580, and having the website, 5 different outlets for WHFS. I think this is the way to go. And I really think CBS ought to think about doing that. 1580, WHFS, just plug it into that 97.5, and then start making the station more of a DC and Baltimore station. Right now they're calling it Baltimore's rock alternative, but really start working on getting that HFS listenership back up in Washington and get some of those old classic HFS people back on the station, like Tim Virgin and stuff like that. That would be cool, and Nisi and stuff like that. I think this would be at least a good mix, a good start here. How about it, CBS? 1580 HFS. Come on, do it! So there!